Here on Morning Mix, Phinizy Swamp Nature Park is an area of hundreds of acres of wetlands and more, all available for free to the public. And just like every other area in the CSRA, they were hit hard by the wrath of Hurricane Helene. But that's not going to stop one of the most beautiful areas in the CSRA from keeping on.
That's right. There are a number of events still happening at Phinizy, including some events happening this weekend. Camilla Sherman is Education Director at Phinizy, and she is with us again this morning in the Mix Studios to tell us more about what's going on down there, and it's good to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good morning.
Right now, first of all, how's the park right now? Obviously, there was damage from the hurricane. How is the group addressing and taking care of those issues out there?
So our wooded trails that are up from the wetlands, we did have a lot of trees come down, and so those trails have been closed until we can clear them out. But we're slowly working on clearing out the trees and opening more of our trails. But the wetland cells areas are all open, and our famous floodplain boardwalk is open and fine. We were honestly pretty fortunate. I sent this picture in just to show that in a wetland, the water level does fluctuate. And of course, this was an extreme situation with a lot of extra water.
Right.
So that line on that sign that actually got hit off from a fallen tree, that comes up to like my chest level. That's how high the water was on that spot next to the boardwalk. But wetlands are designed to be able to handle changes in floodwaters, and so we were really fortunate in that most of the trees in the swamp itself are still there because they have adaptations to help them stay up in crazy storms, and so the boardwalk itself is still intact.
So let's talk about how a nature area like this deals with and adapts from a natural disaster like Hurricane Helene.
Yeah, so we have wetlands all across the country, and they are actually kind of like sponges, and so they're able to absorb and slow down floodwaters so that by the time the water leaves, it's leaving slower. And of course, with so much water, it did move some plants around and knock some things down, but in the swamp itself, it still looks pretty good. But if you haven't been out in a while, you should come because it's very fascinating to see like how things have shifted and how it's changed out there. But it's definitely on the rebound, so animals are coming back to their normal habitats and things like that too.
Now, a lot of people have seen down trees, cut trees across the area because of the hurricane here, and you actually brought a couple of examples here from the swamp. Just show us some of these examples here that you're picking up from the woods. The woodland areas that have been knocked down. Yeah,
so I thought it would be interesting to show you guys a little bit about tree rings, because we're walking around, we're probably seeing a lot of insides of trees we don't normally see. So I just thought it would be interesting to teach you guys a little bit about, we all might be familiar that you can count the rings and you can figure out how old a tree is. There's a light colored ring and a dark colored ring that's put on each year. And scientists actually study tree rings called dendrochronologists, and they can actually determine how old certain structures were and things like that. But you can look at how big the ring is, and that's a healthy year if it's a thick one, versus a thin one is a year where maybe there was less water and it didn't grow as thick. And then I brought just a couple of other fun examples. So this one, you can see where a branch was growing when the tree was younger, and then the branch fell off and the wood grew around it. So now it's just kind of a scar inside. And then this beautiful one, this is actually what's called spalted wood. And this is from fungus inside the tree that is starting to eat the wood, but it can produce colors and patterns, and so it can be really beautiful.
That's amazing. That's like artwork right there.
Yeah, so there's all types of cool stuff that you can see inside of all the trees that are down. We're very sad to have lost so many trees in Augusta, but it's very fascinating to see what's going on inside too.
Yeah. For sure. So there's still a cleanup that's happening at the park, and you have one happening this weekend. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have our Rivers Alive event this weekend, which is actually part of a statewide initiative, and we will be actually collecting data about the litter that is picked up and submitting that into a database so that scientists can analyze what types of trash we have across the state. And so we're picking up trash around and out of our waterways.
Now, in addition to that, this weekend, you also have a Halloween-themed event that's happening for the entire family. You are still going to be going with the family camping event. Tell us about that.
Yes, so this is one of the few times a year that we actually allow camping at the park. It is a family event, and it is so much fun. Everybody dresses up. There is trick-or-treating to the different tents. There's a Halloween costume contest. They decorate pumpkins. There's guided hikes. It is a really good time.
And then on the 29th, you have the annual Spooktacular. So what is that?
Yeah, so that is our toddler Halloween event. And that is, again, there's another costume contest. It's usually even cuter because you can't imagine all the toddlers in their costumes with their parents. And there's all types of games and crafts for the families to do. And it's a really great time.
Bonus points if you dress up like a pirate duck. That will help you. Okay. And again, we've shown all of this online, and also the online site to go to phinizycenter.org/events, or just go to phinizycenter.org to get all of the information out there. Camilla, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks for showing us all this. It's just absolutely amazing. Even in the light of disaster, you're going to find some beautiful things out there at the park.
Yes, exactly.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.